Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, friends out there in Facebook social media land. It's Chris. I'm here in the cellar at Second Glass, and we're talking the weekly wine flights, cellar chats. It's another week. It's another fun lineup. This week, we're doing a little producer spotlight on my buddy Patrick Cappiello, the one and only, with his Monte Cellars. Should be super fun. I mean, Patrick is just an all-around really lovely guy, making some super fun wines out of California that are all at what I call very affordable pricing for California wine, which is it's easier said than done. So hats off to him just for that. We're going to kick off the flight with the Monte Cellars Sauvignon Blanc out of Lodi. Most of his wine, actually all of his wine, comes from Lodi fruit. His newly released 2022 Sangiovese, loving this new label, Patrick, so good. And then the 2021 Old Vine Zinfandel, which has just become kind of like a staple for Patrick. So let's get into it. So Patrick, for those of you who are not familiar with Patrick comes from many years in the restaurant industry. He was a pinnacle sommelier in the New York wine scene in the mid 2000s to aughts. I guess, is that what we call them? Is that what we refer to the aughts? 2010 and on. I think that's what it is. Running some of the most prominent programs there, really pushing the envelope and changing the way people view wine and really having a great time while doing it. And then, market changed, things changed, some partners didn't work out, and he kind of pivoted, and now he's making wine. And you know what? I don't think he's ever been happier. He loves what he does. He makes some great stuff. He partnered up with his buddy, Pax Male, who was like, hey man, just come out, make some wine, see what you think, stay with us. And Patrick I think we're back. I froze for a minute. Again, what he wanted to do with the project is he wants to make something that's classic and typical of California, but at a price point that most people could afford. His problem that he always, and this is an ongoing cycle, when you work in wine, the wines that you can afford aren't always the things you want to drink. So he's trying to change that, and I think he's doing a great job. So, like I said, we're kicking off with his Sauvignon Blanc. Man, does it smell good. Very much inspired by, and I don't remember the name of the producer, so I'm sorry to the producer and Patrick, but there's a Loire Valley producer who makes a really incredible, natural, Sauvignon Blanc, and he was very much inspired by what she does and her work and everything, and even asked to use her, label, basically, breakdown. So this is a little, not a carbon copy, but it is a copy of kind of her label as an ode to her and what she does. This is just, it's clean, fresh, vibrant. I mean, it is all the things that you want in a great wine. It's naturally made, and it doesn't have any of the pitfalls that can come with certain natural wines. I'm not knocking it, but there are certain characteristics that happen in some natural wines that are off-putting to a lot of people. These do not have that. Beautiful citrus, really great minerality. This is not a grapefruit bomb. This is more Loire Valley, Sancerre, Sauvignon-esque. Oh man, boy is that good. Beautiful texture. It's got a little bit of kind of what I call slightly floral, wilderness character to it. That, again, if I remember correctly, the producer that he was really inspired by is based in Sauvignon, and Sauvignon always has that kind of woolly, floral wildness in this very delicate, pretty way, and this just crushes on all aspects. So good, Patrick. Loving this, buddy. You guys need to come out and try this wine. It is incredible. Again, that is the Monte Cellars Lodi Sauvignon Blanc. Love. So good. Really loving that. All right, let's get into Sangiovese. I mean, this is coming from somebody who loves Italian wine, Italian varieties, and pretty much everything all around Italian. I don't know why I have no Italian heritage in my family. I didn't grow up that way. Just something about it is very appealing to me. Italian grapes in California, it's not easy to do. For whatever reason, Italian grapes just don't always do great outside of their homeland. That's just a fact. Anybody who makes Italian grapes outside of Italy will tell you that. But I will say there's a handful of people that have been able to really coax out what I think is like the perfect balance of showcasing the traditional characteristics and what you might expect from this from where it originates, and while also like highlighting what makes where they are really special. And I'll be honest, and I don't think I'm being biased on this. I think Patrick Sangiovese always is excellent. I mean, the nose, bright cherries, a little bit of dusty tannins, a little bit of like baking spice characteristics. You know, this is all done in neutral wood, native fermentation for everything here. A lot of like stainless steel or concrete tanks for fermentation, excuse me. You know, aged 10 months, neutral wood. Pretty much for all of his wines, by the way. Oh, that is excellent. Again, those beautiful, like, ripe, but like dark black cherry characteristics. Really lovely dusty tannins. A little bit of an herbaceous character, which really sets Sangiovese apart. I mean, excuse me, delicate, beautiful color. This is spot on Sangiovese from a mile. Killer work. Loving this, every bit of it. This is the first time I've tasted this vintage. I love everything about it. I love the new label. I love the wine. It's excellent. All right, moving into Old Vine Zin. I mean, if we're going to talk about Lodi, it's hard not to talk about Zinfandel. I mean, I think that, like, anytime you mention Lodi, that's what people think. They think Zinfandel. And rightly so. There's some incredible vineyards out in Lodi that have some of the oldest plantings of Zinfandel, I think, in the state, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just a treasure trove of incredible vineyard sites. And Zinfandel definitely probably reigns supreme. It does well with the climate. You know, it's a sandy, kind of arid area. It gets cool at night, but it's fairly hot during the day. So Zinfandel kind of thrives in this. And I think if I remember, you know, correctly, Patrick has made Zinfandel from out in Lodi, I think, since his first vintage of Monte, maybe the second vintage. And it always just is really like changing the perspective of what you think of Lodi Zinfandel. So when I came into this industry, Lodi Zin was your inexpensive, high alcohol, blackberry pie, jammy, rich, like dense, chewy Zin. And at the time, that's what I was into. I'm not gonna lie. I love those. I thought it was amazing, super fun. They were super affordable. And as I've grown in the wine industry and kind of expanded my palate, I've learned to love more delicate things and things that are a little more nuanced. And what Patrick has done with the Monte for his Zinfandel is all those things. It still tastes like Zin, it smells like Zin, but it doesn't have that teeth-staining, like overt, heavy alcohol, big, rich mouthfeel that you typically find in Zinfandels, particularly from Lodi. So it's kind of this like, hey, we can also make lively, fresh wines from these incredible vineyards. Again, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those bigger, richer ones. Like, if that's your thing, have at it. I went through that. I loved it. A lot of people still love it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you think that all Zinfandel is like that, then you need to try this, because it is not like that. Again, typical blackberry, kind of plummy, little like pie characteristics, a little bit of dusty herbaceousness. Oh, what's really cool about this is it really highlights the delicate spice characters you can find in Zinfandel. I mean, you can tell this is like dense, chewy fruit, but it still has freshness. It still has acidity. It still feels lively on the palate, while still giving me all those things that I fell in love with Zinfandel years ago. So come out, have the flights. This is an amazing producer, really great wine, super fun, great way to kick off, the first week of October. Again, excuse me, the flight this week, all Monte Cellars, starting with the Sauvignon Blanc, moving into the lovely Sangiovese, and then wrapping it up with his fantastic old Vine Zin. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, keep in mind, tonight is a special wine dinner with the, oh my gosh, my brain stopped working, with the Andis wines. Should be an amazing event. If you haven't decided on what you're doing tonight, you're looking for a fun date night, this would be a great call. $85 a person for ticket plus tax and gratuity. I think there's like 6 or 7 wines on the list. There's like 4 or 5 courses. It's going to be amazing. I just looked at it. It looks fantastic. Should be a ton of fun. And then this weekend is the third Blooms event here at Second Glass. So really great, fun lineup, 8 wines, 8 different flowers to pair with it. Everyone goes home with a beautiful bouquet for their centerpiece. And it's just an all-around great time. So tickets for that, $55 plus tax. If you're interested and want to know more, check out the website. Otherwise, be safe. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week.